The Sheriff Holston man puts a badge on his uniform, places a vase of flowers near the mirror, and leaves the room. He talks about how they don't know why they are in the shelter, don't know who it was built by, and why the world outside the shelter is the way it is. Sheriff Holston. A man walks through the kitchen and greets the cook girl. Sheriff talks about how they don't know when it will be possible to go outside. They only know that day has not yet come. Sheriff writes something on a piece of paper and attaches his badge to the letter. The man meets Deputy Marnes, a fellow police officer, who says he didn't sleep because he's at work so early. Deputy Marnes. Sheriff asks to come into 3 lockup after coffee. Sheriff Holston himself goes into cell number 3, locks himself inside and throws away his keys. He stands looking through the window saying he wants to go to her and that he should have done this 3 years ago. Deputy Marnes with coffee asks him to come out and stop and that they will talk things over. Sheriff Holston pronounces that he has made up his mind and that is why he is here. He apologizes to his colleague and says that he will not wait for Sandy. Deputy Marnes says don't. Sheriff Holston says, Deputy Marnes, I want out. The man then says that while the co-worker coordinates everything, he will lie down and lies down on the bed in the cell. Sheriff Holston recalls the woman's face. Sheriff Holston and Allison sit down in front of the computer. The woman asks Sheriff Holston why they are getting into this, since there is no chance. Allison presses a button on the computer and opens a window that says, Allison. She smiles and tells Sheriff Holston that they will now make love every day, to which the man replies that it will be fait accompli in a month. Allison gets up and says she has to go. The woman says that they will have just enough time to have breakfast and choose a name for the baby. She also says she's going into labor, so she'll have the last word. The couple arrives at the cafe, takes their food. Everyone around them wishes them luck and congratulates them. The couple sits down at a table. A woman with white-gray hair, Gloria Hildebrandt, walks up to the table and apologizes for the inconvenience. Gloria Hildebrandt. She begins to speak, but Sheriff Holston replies sharply that she'd rather she left already. The woman turns to Allison and says that whatever Sheriff says, she can counsel her. Gloria says she is not content to be banished and asks Allison to look in on her if she is ready to talk, and leaves. Allison is at a doctor's appointment, with Sheriff Holston sitting next to her. The doctor says that after he removes the contraceptive, a woman's hormones will rebuild in a couple weeks. But some can conceive almost immediately. It's all individual. Allison says this is their 3rd attempt and that she is almost 38 years old. The doctor pulls out the capsule and says, what's left now is to conceive and give birth.
You are now free to make a baby.
Allison and Sheriff Holston walk into their apartment and the woman asks to be impregnated right away. She tells her husband that at some point this will be their job. A few weeks later, Allison is talking to Karen at work. Karen. A man approaches the women and asks whose article is on the bulletin board. Allison says it is hers. The man reprimands a woman and pronounced she should have consulted with him before publicizing IT content. Allison pronounced she did not wish to burden a colleague. The man says that the article has been deleted and that the woman forgot about the reporting structure. At home, Allison tells Sheriff Holston about the situation and the man asks if the wife has broken the law. Allison says that she may have and that there are many prohibitions. The husband remarks that she wanted to work in IT herself. Allison says that's not the case, it's like that everywhere. The woman starts to say that they blame the rebels for erasing history, so why is this topic taboo? She says that if the loss of annals is trouble, then why is anyone with a relic from the past sent to the mines? Allison sees her husband's reaction and says he decides to include the sheriff with her. Sheriff Holston says their whole story is in the statute. He says that if the offenders want to open the hatch and see what's up there, everyone is finished. Sheriff Holston pronounces that he is making sure that doesn't happen. The days to conceive are getting shorter and shorter. Allison tells her husband that her period has started again. Sheriff Holston is at work. He, Deputy Marnes, and the female mayor are discussing Freedom Day. Mayor notices looking out the window that visibility is dropping every month. Sheriff Holston says everything is fine, just long gaps before the cleanups. The mayor pronounces that people need to see the outside world. Allison meets Gloria Hildebrandt. Gloria says she wants to ask Allison a question in private and takes her to her room. Gloria turns on the water so the lawman won't overhear them and asks if Allison has thought about what was on the hacked servers and burned books, and if it's definitely the rebels' fault. Allison says she has work to do, but Gloria says she's questioning it too. Gloria asks why they live underground and what really happened. The woman also says that people like Allison will not be allowed to have children. Allison tells her husband about everything. Sheriff Holstow says that that woman is clearly out of her mind and says she will have psychiatrists visit her. Allison tells her that Gloria and her husband are still without children. Sheriff Holstow says that they are not using protection, which means they have as much chance of conceiving as any other couple. At work, Allison is told that she has to work on her day off. Allison tells her husband that Sheriff Holstow himself works on Freedom Day, so she decides to take the shift. The woman says that she needs to arrive at work early in the morning, and because she will sleep at the hostel from tonight. Allison starts kissing her husband, and the couple makes love. Freedom Day. Allison arrives at George Wilkins' house for work. The guy says he was looking forward to the meeting. George Wilkins, he reveals that he printed out the woman's post about file recovery, and says he's sent requests many times already. Different specialists have been sent, and then on the holiday, they sent Allison. George Wilkins says he's afraid of the lawman. The guy pulls something off a shelf and hands it to Allison, saying that a year ago, some man found it in a closet and brought it here. George Wilkins plugs the disk into the computer and says that it shows that it's using a lot of space, but the files aren't visible. The guy assumes that the disk is over 40 years old, to which Allison says that all the drives have been destroyed. The woman sits down at the computer and starts typing something in.
Is there anything I can...
Not talking would be great.
Sheriff Holstow accompanies the mayor. Allison tries to crack the disk and asks George Wilkins for a magnifying glass to look at the writing on it. The female mayor comes to the podium and begins to speak into the microphone. She pronounces that it is 6 hours, 6 minutes, and 6 seconds. On this day, 140 years ago, they defended their freedom. The mayor says there was a riot, a terrible one, and if the rioters had opened the doors to the outside, no one here would be standing here right now. But they were stopped by the founders. The rebels robbed the people of their chronicles. Allison asks if there is a magnifying glass more powerful. The woman says there's some word on the disk, either library or something else. The mayor says the rioters destroyed all the hard drives, ripped up documents, burned all the books in the libraries. Allison manages to open the files on the disk. The mayor says the enemy didn't get through, and the hero founders saved everyone. George Wilkins opens some file. There is a lot of data. Allison says he won't look at it and advises him against it because it's a relic, and you can't keep something like that. It's a purge. George Wilkins asks if she will tell her husband. Allison once again says, "Destroy the disk," and leaves. George continues to look at the files. The mayor pronounces that they are celebrating the glorious victory with jubilation, music, and silence. George sees some sort of tunnel on the blueprint file. Allison walks through the people who are listening to the mayor. The people release flashlights. In the evening, Allison and Sheriff Holstow kiss in bed. Allison says she is very tired today. Sheriff Holstow asks if she is tired from work today or just everything. Sheriff Holstow says there is still time and that he wants a baby. Allison pronounces that she wanted one too. The next day at work, Allison is asked how she went on the call. The woman says wasted. Karen says the guy is just lonely and wanted to socialize with someone. Allison says she's not feeling well and leaves. Allison goes to see Gloria Hildebrandt and asks why they were denied children. At home, Allison tells her husband that she will take tomorrow off and go to the market to distract herself. The next day, Allison goes to George and says she wants to look at the files. She tells the guy, after looking at the files, that his head is spinning with information and not to say anything to anyone. George and Allison open some file that has nature videos in it. Allison comes home and Sheriff Holstow notices that she has been gone for a long time. Sheriff Holstow tells his wife that the doctor will be able to see them at 11 and hints that they still have time. Allison says she will sleep longer in the morning and they will meet at the doctor's office. The husband asks if everything is okay. Allison says no, but it will be. At a doctor's appointment, Sheriff Holstow sits alone. The time is already 11:25. His wife is not there. He arrives at Allison's workplace and sees that her workstation is empty. Sheriff Holstow arrives home. The water in the faucet is on full blast, and Allison says they need to talk. Holstow asks what is going on. Allison says that she wanted to tell him yesterday but wasn't sure her husband would understand her. She says that Holstow doesn't always hear her, and that her husband is a man of the law and she needed proof. Allison pronounces that they will not be allowed to have children because she is not the kind of person they want children from. Sheriff Holstow says that he saw the doctor remove the capsule. Allison says they don't know what he was doing there behind the curtain. She tells her husband that the capsule was not removed and that it is here. The woman shows the capsule in her hand, covered in blood. Allison cut it out of her stomach herself. Sheriff Holstow tells his wife to clamp the wound and runs out of the house. He runs to the doctor and asks him to run with him. Deputy Marnes catches up with Sheriff Holstow and tells him that Allison is in the dining room. Allison is in the dining room telling people that everything here is fake. Sheriff Holstow runs over to his wife and tries to calm her down. Allison says that she has thought it over and that there is no other way out. Allison screams, "I want out." Deputy Marnes handcuffs her.
It's okay.
I want to go out!
Sheriff Holstow talks to Deputy Marnes and the mayor. The woman asks if there is anything she can do, say Allison misspoke due to stress or something. Sheriff Holstow snaps and says he's already gone through all the options. The man says here's the law. If you want outside, go outside. The mayor asks if maybe someone has indoctrinated Allison with everything. They recall Gloria Hildebrandt talking to the woman. Sheriff Holstow and the police officers detain Gloria Hildebrandt and George Wilkins. The guy says Allison never came to see him. Sheriff Holstow tells the mayor that Allison is very susceptible, and it broke her that they will not have children. The mayor tells Sheriff Holstow to rest, but the man reminds him about his vows. Sheriff Holstow prepares a white suit. Sheriff Holstow sits near Allison's cell. The woman says she is sorry and that she is not crazy. Sheriff Holstow says he took the capsule to the doctor. Allison snarks and suggests what the man might have said. Allison asks her husband to sit up against the bars and takes his hand. The woman says she loves him. That's the most important thing. Allison says that she would not want to know what she already knows. She has become convinced that all words are lies. Sheriff Holstow says you should have come to him with that information instead of saying words that get you killed. Allison says that is what is most important. She explains that the picture is being tweaked on the screens and it won't die there. Allison says that what they see simply does not exist, and they have been indoctrinated that the world is like that. Sheriff Holstow asks if it's so good there, then why don't they just let them out? Allison also says that the cleaners don't want to go outside at first, but then they still go there over and over again, maybe in hopes of telling people the truth. Allison says that if she sees the truth there, she will go back for her husband.
I'll find out what's going on, and then I'll come back for you.
Allison is dressed in a white suit. She is told that she will be found guilty of breaking a major law of the community. Since she has expressed a desire to leave the bunker, she will. The mayor tells Allison that she is being asked to clean her lenses and will be given funds. Sheriff Holstow gives a speech and cries. Allison tells her husband that she loves him. She goes outside. The people in the dining room, including Sheriff Holstow, see Allison cleaning the window. Then the woman starts to walk farther along the ground, but falls and remains lying there. Deputy Marnes brings Sheriff Holstow the George Wilkins case and says the guy is dead, fell from the 120th floor. The man says that an engineer said the guy was robbed of his life. Sheriff Holstow examines the body. He and Deputy go to that engineer, the woman who said George Wilkins didn't die by himself, Juliet Nichols. Juliet Nichols. Deputy Marnes tells Sheriff Holstow that when he met Juliet Nichols, he changed. Sheriff Holstow says he just realized what his wife wanted to convey. He says he will go outside and find the wife.